following presentation of the Seattle Mariners.
Well, the Mariners are back home for this 4-game series, and our telecast has made a comeback to the local airwaves. We welcome our viewers on King 5 in Western Washington and those watching on our affiliate network that stretches from Honolulu and Fairbanks to Billings and Boise. We welcome you to Mariners TV. Glad to have you with us on this Friday night from inside T-Mobile Park. Aaron Goldsmith alongside former Mariners catcher Dave Valley. And Val, both these teams, the Mariners and the Astros, division rivals, both come limping into this series and both have pretty opposite strengths early on this season.
Yeah, this is a team of both teams at the opposite ends of the spectrum. You got the offense from the Astros, who are the best in baseball. The Mariners, they're the worst in baseball. On the pitching side of things, the Mariners pitching to me has been elite. They're the third best in Major League Baseball. The Astros are nearly at the bottom at 29. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets things turned around here quick after both teams were swept in their last series.
A classic something's got to give kind of 4-game series here in Seattle. We'll turn our attention to the pitching. Our Western Washington Toyota dealer starting pitching matchup. Tetsuya Amai is making his first start against the Mariners, just his third of the big leagues. Big offseason acquisition out of Japan for the Astros. Meanwhile, Emerson Hancock, his third start, he has dazzled in his first 2, Val.
Yeah, he is certainly making the most of this opportunity to be a starter on this rotation. But in his 2 starts, he's thrown 12 innings and he's punched out 14 guys, giving up only 6 hits, and he's allowed only 8 base runners. How has he done it? He's been attacking the zone, putting the hitters on their heel, and the Astros are going to be a very good test for the young right-hander.
Yes, as you were saying, maybe the best offense in baseball right now, the Astros. Them and the Dodgers right now, they've been the 2 most potent lineups, so the Astros certainly the best in the American League in the first couple of weeks of the season. On the other side of things, the Mariners, they can watch video, they can look at scouting reports, but no one has ever stand in the box against Amai yet.
And it's going to be interesting. This is a guy that's come over from Japan. He's had a couple of good starts, but he has struggled a little bit. He's not had a lot of control. This is something that the Mariners are going to have to do, is be very patient with him. He's got 7 walks in just 8 innings, but this is a guy we're going to talk about some of his funky pitches. He kind of comes at you with some unique type of pitching.
Yes, he has a slider in particular that we'll be discussing when he takes them out. Mariners and the Astros. Can you hear the boos in the background? Did you know Houston was in town? Hey, there's a new ornament on the curb here at T-Mobile Park. The Ichiro statue unveiled, and yeah, it looks pretty good right there. It's Mariners TV is brought to you by Emerald Queen Casino. It's time to celebrate. Cool to the gang. Come to Emerald Queen Casino May 23rd. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. By your local Ford dealer, home of the F-150, America's best-selling truck for 49 years. And by UW Medicine, the only health system in Washington that directly connects care to a research and learning powerhouse. UW Medicine, a higher degree of health care. Ah, there it is, the brand new Ichiro statue. And a full house expected on hand here tonight. Mariners and the Astros getting set to begin this very brief homestand. Just a 4-game series against the Mariners' division rival. Tonight's DirecTV new era. There is a new look at the top of the lineup for manager Dan Wilson today. Brendan Donovan is under the weather. There's a righty on the mound. That means J.P. Crawford become the 4th different player to bat leadoff already this year for the Mariners. This is not an unfamiliar position for the veteran. Over 450 games at the top of the order, 14 career leadoff home runs. And for more on this maybe new look this year for the Mariners lineup, yeah, way down there at the end of the Mariners dugout, we check in with our guy Ryan Rowland-Smith. Hyphen, what's going on?
What's happening, Goldie? Well, you mentioned that the Mariners have found their leadoff hitter in Brendan Donovan, the big trade in the offseason, but he's under the weather tonight, so who can step in? J.P. Crawford, fresh off the IL, and we know about the elite plate discipline. He has one of the best in the game, and you mentioned it too, some of the numbers from the leadoff spot. This is where he shines. The batting average goes up a little bit, the power actually goes up, and I want to go back to 2023. You combine the plate discipline with the power, and especially too pitches per at bat. So this is a really nice little replacement just for the short term. You'll see JP slide back down the lineup. If there's one guy to take over that leadoff spot, especially with the righty on the mound, Goldie, it is JP Crawford.
Yeah, pretty good fill-in for Brendan Donovan, a guy who's been there and done that before in JP. Mariners and the Astros moments away. First pitch around the corner. Mariners TV is brought to you by Washington Trust Bank, privately owned and locally invested since 1902. By the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. Before you drive, put your phone out of reach and stay focused on the road. And by PIMCO, the insurance you get. Learn more at PIMCO.com. Mariners locking horns with the Astros for the first time this year. Mariners and the Astros both in the midst of a bit of a slide. Big 4-game series on both sides to try to right the ship. Here's what it looks like for manager Joe Espada. Jeremy Pena, speedy shortstop, is at the top of the order. Then the big left-handed bat of Yordan Alvarez. There are only 2 lefty bats in this lineup. The Astros remain extremely right-handed like they have been in years past. The only other lefty, Joey Loperfido, the center fielder, batting 8th. Emerson Hancock on the mound tonight, and we are underway. First pitch fastball missing just a touch outside for ball 1. Well, as Val was saying, you've got one of the very best pitching staffs in baseball going up against one of the very best lineups in baseball early on this year, as this is rattled foul at the dish.
And I will say that I typically believe that pitching always beats hitting. Quality pitching will normally get you.
Will also be quite the test for the Astros, and it'll be quite the test for the Mariners pitching staff as well. 1-1. Little inside out flare into straightaway right field. And the catch made easily. Luke Raley out there tonight, 1 away. Emerson Hancock tonight making his 3rd start. Val, he really couldn't be much better at all his first 2 times out.
Well, and he's a big reason why the Mariners have one of the best pitching staffs in the game of baseball. He's making his 3rd start. He's 1-1 with just a .70 ERA. Here's a look at his arsenal: that 4-seam fastball, the sweeper, a sinker, a cutter, and a changeup.
First pitch strike to Yordan Alvarez at 96 miles an hour. Alvarez really got off to a blazing hot start. He was the American League Player of the Week the first week of the season. Hit .417 on the opening homestand for the Astros with 3 home runs. It's been a tough road trip for Alvarez in some ways. He's just 3 for 17, but he still walked 7 times. So he still managed to get on base. A wave and a miss, and that's the sweeper from Hancock. We saw that start to debut for Emerson last year at the end of the season, pitching in relief, and it has been a major weapon for him through 2 starts this year.
And clearly that sweeper coming down, and I know they talked about it in the pregame show, but that angle is at only 13%, and it's because he's dropping it down. It's got a much longer sweep to it, much more difficult for those hitters to catch up.
97 that time for Emerson. He's got a good fastball working early tonight.
One of the things that I have seen from Emerson in those first 2 starts is he's just attacking the zone, putting the hitters on their heels, making those guys try to swing the bat. Ooh. I was waiting for Cal to do a little something there, but the ball just barely off of the plate.
Here comes the 2-2. Fly ball. Julio tracking this into the alleyway, and he's there underneath it for out number 2. A couple of fly ball outs for Hancock to begin his night. Here comes Jose Altuve.
Never forget.
Altuve off to a nice start this year.
Altuve now 36 years old. As you mentioned, right now he has an on-base percentage of .531.
guy who's always been a thorn in the side of the Mariners.
Hard to believe his 16th big league season. 0-2. Third most hits all time against the Mariners. The most of any active player. Something happened there. Too good of an arm angle that time.
It looked like kind of a Bugs Bunny sweeper. We talked about maybe 12 to 14 inches would be a big sweeper. That was about 3 or 4 feet.
Two outs and nobody on. Last year the Astros tried an experiment with Altuve. They put him in left field quite a bit. He did not age well at second base, and Joe Espada and the Astros trying to hide his glove in left. That did not go well either. He is no longer an outfielder. He's back to either DHing or playing second. He DHs tonight. '97 again from Hancock. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Altuve calls time.
You know, we're talking about Hancock in his first 2 starts. Heavy right-handed lineup. He's been using that 2-seam sinker a little bit more often than the 4-seamer.
A broken bat. And an easy pop-up for Rivas. And Hancock retires this side in order. Nice way to start the homestand for the Mariners. Mariners TV is brought to you by your local Ford dealer, home of the F-150, America's best-selling truck for 49 years. Beautiful night for baseball. Almost 65 degrees and the roof wide open. Now this guy looks familiar at the top of the order. J.P. Crawford batting leadoff tonight against a righty. Brendan Donovan under the weather. So it is J.P. back to the top of the order for the first time this year. Tatsuya Amai, Japanese right-hander, making his 3rd career major league start, facing the Mariners for the first time ever. JP ahead 2-0. It's been kind of a mixed bag for Amai so far this year. Val, you were talking about all the walks that he has given up. 7 walks and let's call it 8 innings worth of work, but he's also had a fair amount of swing and miss.
He's coming off a very strong start against the A's where he went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, did walk 3, but also punched out 9 of those A's.
A good count for JP as he takes a strike.
You know, we saw those numbers on JP in that leadoff spot. I've always felt that depending on where you hit in the order, there's a certain responsibility that guys feel. And I think that's one of the reasons why he has better numbers as a leadoff hitter. If you hit in the 8th or 9th, like you just go up there and you're just swinging, right? There's no real purpose. Not that there's not purpose, but as a leadoff hitter, you almost feel a responsibility to try to set the table for the guys behind you. JP right there leading off with a walk, trying to set the table for the Mariners.
He's aboard right away for Cal Raleigh. Mariners trying to get some of these bats to wake up a little bit on the homestand. Cal takes a strike. And it was a very frustrating road trip for the Mariners. Mariners offense comes into this one at the very bottom in baseball in so many categories. And they are facing off against a pitching staff that has been at the very bottom of so many pitching categories. There's also a starting rotation for the Astros has been really beat up all of a sudden. They have some key members on the injured list. Very high. Astros nearly dead last in ERA. Their walk rate is among the worst, and opposing hitters, opposing teams are batting .265. That's 28th in baseball. So the Mariners looking to get right against some of these Astros arms. Crawford at first, nobody out. And an easy take. 2-2. Mariners were swept in 3 games in Arlington, and they scored a combined 3 runs in those 3 games, including being shut out in the finale. Off day came at a good time, I would say.
Yeah, anytime you go through a 3-game set there and you just cannot get it done, you can't put runs up on the board. That day off at home kind of helps you kind of reset things. And as you mentioned, with the Astros coming into town, the Mariners offense has got to be looking at, hey, this is a good opportunity for us to start putting some things together on the field.
Well, some really easy takes so far from Amai. That one misses badly.
Yeah, those last 2 pitches were just not competitive enough for Cal to even offer.
Well, he's run a 3-ball count to each of the first 2 hitters as Cal steps out. We mentioned both teams come limping into this series. The Astros were just swept in Colorado. Being swept by the Rockies is no feat that any team wants to say that they have accomplished. Runner at first base, and JP not much of a lead. Just kind of falls back to the bag. Here comes a 3-2. It's outside. Back-to-back walks to begin the Mariners' first inning.
Well, this is where the Mariners need to take advantage of Amai early in this ball game.
It is a pretty unique arsenal for Amai. It looks standard as a visit goes out to the mound right now. It's the slider that has gotten everyone talking in baseball.
He's got that 4-seam fastball that he'll throw 46% of the time, but the slider, they call it the wrong way slider, which means it goes the opposite way of where you think it would go. So I'm thinking it's more like a heavy sinker, a sinker that has a lot more movement than a normal one. But I saw some video of it, and it is very weird looking. You know, just the release point is on the side of the baseball, which typically, like if you, as we watch Emerson Hancock here tonight throwing his sweeper, they're throwing it from the same location on the side of the baseball. But Emerson's goes right to left, away from a right-handed hitter, and Amai's goes left to right, away from a left-handed hitter.
It doesn't seem possible, but that's what it does.
Well, I didn't really understand it when I started seeing this, a number of the videos, and then when I watched the movement of the baseball, it made me think of Greg Maddux. He had that tremendous sweep, kind of comeback sweeper that would just leave left-handed hitters with the bat in their hands.
After that mound visit, he's suddenly ahead 0-2 on Julio. Nobody out, the first 2 reaching on walks. Chopping back to the mound over Amai. Tough play. Pena scoops, and he's got no throw. Julio too fast. It's an infield base hit, and the Mariners have him loaded up right away.
When this ball is initially hit, it looked like Amai was going to have a play on it. And Pena was going towards the bag. That ball bounces straight up, and Amai not even close to it. And Pena having to come in. And with him having to do that, Julio gets to first base without a throw.
To the backstop. Here comes J.P. Crawford. He's safe. Mariners on the board first.
A good read by J.P. Crawford. That ball rebounding back to Vasquez behind the dish. But he gets a good jump. There's that backward slider. He just cranks it into the dirt. Nothing but a wave by Vasquez. And J.P. getting that left foot in there safely.
Infield is in. 1 ball and 1 strike to Naylor.
Well, a good look right there. JP just flying in right on top of home plate. M's first one to put it on the board here tonight.
Naylor behind 1-2. Well, in the major league debut for Tetsuya Amai, that was against the Angels. He walked 4 batters and could not escape the 3rd inning. And as time was called, he walked 3 batters in his last start.
It's one of those things when you look at the data, how many times those walks come around to score.
1-2. And Naylor having some kind of conversation with Austin Jones, our home plate umpire. Cal Raleigh at 3rd, Julio Speed at 2nd with the infield end.
With nobody out, Naylor looking for something elevated out over the plate, something that he can drive to the big part of the ballpark. Give Cal plenty of time to get in from 3rd base.
Another 3-ball count. Now Rosarena waiting on deck. Man, the Mariners a crooked number in the 1st inning. It's almost hard to believe it could happen. 3-2. The bases are loaded. It's been 3 walks, an infield base hit, and a wild pitch, and the Mariners very much in business.
I was just thinking what you said about the Mariners putting up a crooked number. It'd be like a cold glass of water in the desert. It's been a while.
Well, here's the thing, right? You look at the talent in that clubhouse and on the lineup every day, and you say it's a matter of time. But everybody, including those guys in the uniform, they want to see it more than anybody. Here's Randy going after the first pitch. Center cut fastball, fouls it away, strike 1.
Had a great conversation with Edgar Martinez today when they were hitting early and asking him what he was thinking about why the Mariners have gotten off to the start that they have. And he told me, he goes, Val, it's all about the at-bats in spring training. The WBC had a number of the Mariner players, literally the core, right? Cal, Julio, Naylor, Canzone was even in there. But Cal only had 50 plate appearances all spring. So when I asked Edgar, I said, how many did you used to get in spring training? He said about 100. So that's double the amount just to get your rhythm and your timing going. And as you mentioned, as we were talking about that, they were very sporadic too. It was like play a game here, then there was a few days off because of the way the WC unfolds.
Here comes a 1-2. And it hit him with the bases loaded. The Mariners have scored 2 runs, 1 on a wild pitch, and now on a bases loaded hit by pitch.
Yeah, here's that pitch right here, that slider that runs up and in on the hands of a Rosarena.
Randy, who on the road trip was hit for the 100th time in his career. He's led the majors in being hit by pitches in each of the last 2 seasons. I think it's an RBI the painful way. Bases still loaded. Here's Luke Raley. Well, this is not what you want to have to do if you are Joe Espada. His bullpen is already up. There is nobody out. Stephen Okert, the lefty, is getting loose. Almost 30 pitches.
Yeah, Mai just does not look very comfortable out there in this 1st inning.
The previous pitch was called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
Let's see, after this challenge, ABS presented by T-Mobile is the ball.
Has one challenge remaining.
Lose that challenge. I mean, kind of a desperation challenge when you look at the way this first inning's unfolding.
Well, there are times when you're back behind that plate and you just start to feel things unravel. Vasquez saying, hey, maybe, just maybe it was a strike.
Raley batting with the bases full. The 2-1. Soft chopper, second base. Isaac Paredes with a tag, throw to first base, and it's in time for the double play. A run scores. Randy is calling himself safe at second base. It's 3-0 Mariners. And Dan Wilson wants to challenge. Randy had some pretty strong conviction about that. Isaac Paredes playing second base for the first time this year. What happened?
Yeah, he does not get him right there. Good job by Rosarena of avoiding this tag. Paredes slows down to avoid the contact. But that glove never does touch a Rosarena. You saw the second plate umpire making the out call. But he was on the opposite side of Paredes from a Rosarena. It's been very difficult for him to see that.
Well, the Mariners are challenging this. The base runner is allowed 3 feet to either side from the moment the tag is beginning to be initiated.
Yeah, I don't think Randy got even close to being outside with that 3 feet. Now, if he was on the infield grass, then maybe you say, okay, he went a little bit too far to avoid the tag.
On the field, he's overturned. Runner is safe. Seattle retains the challenge.
You know, that's the right call. Clearly. So the Mariners have a Rosarena at second and Naylor at third. You know, if anything, Amai should be grateful that this has not gotten worse already. He has had some real self-inflicted damage. He has walked 3, hit a batter, thrown a wild pitch, has been able to keep it on the infield. However, here's Cole Young. Mariners looking for a knockout blow.
You'd like to see something driven in the gap. Pick up a couple of more right here.
Off of Vasquez. Mariners have scored 3 runs without getting the ball out of the infield.
We have not seen any real solid contact by the Mariner hitters. But hey, anyway, you got to find a way to push them across.
Infield is in, 1 out, second and third for the Mariners. Jackknifed him. This has been the real thing with Amaya, isn't it? Just the location, the command. He just has had so many pitches that haven't been close. Just clearly off. Now a 1-2. Jammed him a bit, fouls it back. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Cole Young. 7th batter here in the Mariners' first. .35 pitches. Astros bullpen is up. Oker continues to warm. And Vasquez keeps that one in front of him. 2-2.
Right now, Amai does not have a pitch that he can throw and then he knows he's going to throw it for a strike. He's been erratic with all of those pitches. As you mentioned, a helpless feeling if you're a catcher. You're going, where do I go? I need a strike. Which one do I put down?
He has already walked 3. His 3-2 inside, and the Mariners have him loaded up again, and that's going to be it. Well, the Mariners are dipping into the Astros bullpen 1 out into this ball game. And the compounding effect that could have over the next 3 games. Now, what a win for the Mariners. We've got a pitching change.
Everyone has free offers on the latest.
The Mariners have a chance to blow this one open in the first inning. They've got them loaded up, already 3 runs in, and they have dipped into this Astros bullpen. Tetsuya Amai cannot escape the first, and veteran reliever Stephen Okert takes over.
Okert has appeared in 2 games. He's thrown 5 innings. He's given up 3 runs. He's got 4 strikeouts. Got a slider and a 4-seam fastball.
Bags packed one away. The pitch to Canzone. Well, there is the slider.
He likes his slider. He'll throw that 67% of the time.
Well, after you saw that first swing, I suppose you go back to it, huh?
Yeah, until the hitter typically makes an adjustment. You might throw a fastball for show, something in off of the plate.
Three straight sliders, and Canzone strikes out. 2 away. Here comes Rivas. Well, it's already been a productive inning for the Mariners, but they would love to punch through and get even more than this.
Yeah, you want to take advantage of everything you possibly can, with Amai struggling here in the first inning.
They have already scored as many runs in this first inning as they did the last 3 games combined in Arlington. And that's going to be all they get as Pena gets underneath this one in shallow left center to make the catch. It's hard to complain about 3 runs at the state of the game right now for the Mariners. They would have liked to have more, but an early 3-0 lead into the Astros bullpen already.
It takes 5 seconds to read it.
We want to welcome viewers watching tonight on King 5 TV here in Seattle, one of 17 markets across 6 states carrying tonight's game, including KGW in Portland, KREM and KSKN in Spokane, and KTVB in Boise. Tonight's the first of 10 Friday night over-the-air broadcasts this summer. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you right here at T-Mobile Park at some time soon. And don't forget, if you want to catch nearly every Mariners game this year, you can subscribe to Mariners.tv for $19.99 a month or $99.99 for the entire season. You can go to Mariners.tv to sign up tonight. 3-0 Mariners as we start the second on a beautiful night inside T-Mobile Park. Isaac Paredes leading things off. Ground ball, and it splits the left side between Crawford and Rivas. Paredes, a very pull-happy hitter.
I was actually surprised that J.P. Crawford was kind of playing him straight up. But Paredes, a guy who just likes to use that left side of the field, rips one right past Rivas. Have you ever seen a spray chart of his home runs?
Yeah. It's one of the great home run spray charts that the game offers. Everything is to left field. Literally everything for his entire career. Here is second-year Astro Christian Walker, 3-time Gold Glove winner.
Gotten off to a great start for the Astros. Leading the league in extra base hits. He's got a nice little 5-game hitting streak right now, hitting .360.
Now, last year was a tough year for Walker. Signed that lucrative free agent deal to come to Houston. Ended up with 27 home runs. But the swing and miss was a problem for much of last year for Walker. 0-2. And you can see a real jump last year in strikeout rate, nearly 28%, with the walk rate at a recent low for Walker as well. Not a good combination, obviously. Check swing, foul. You're talking about all of the extra base hits for Walker. That's part of the reason why the Astros are the outlier leader right now in extra base hits this season. Now, playing 3 games at Coors does help a little bit, but they were swept in those 3 games for what it's worth. The 1-2. Jammed him. Really gets in on his hands.
We were talking about the struggle for the Mariners, scoring only 3 runs. Houston only scored 9 runs in that sweep by the Rockies. Who'd have thought that? Best offensive team going into Coors Field?
You're thinking 8 runs a game.
At least.
Well, this is the second time this has happened, and this time it happens with a man on base. Something's wrong with a couple of sweepers from Hancock.
He's just holding on to it just a little bit too long. As that release point gets further out in front, the more that ball is going to swing away from Cal Raleigh.
That one really backs up on him. All of a sudden, a 3-2 count and a lengthy at bat here. Here comes pitch number 8. And it's low. So a single followed by a walk. We go down to the Ford Sports Desk. Hyphen.
You're talking about Emerson Hancock and that arm slot. It has had a dramatic adjustment from last year. Look at the fastball. Look at this overlay from 2024 to 25 to 2026. And all of a sudden he's dipped that arm slot. And the big reason why is because he's trying to generate a little bit more of that upshoot on that fastball to the top of the strikes, and we've seen more swing and misses. He's done this with the fastball and then again with the sweeper as well. But one thing I'm noticing here, fellas, he's done this a couple times. When you get away from your natural slot.
This is laced into center field, and the Astros have him loaded up. Hyphen.
Yeah, when you get away from your natural slot, you see him throw a couple to the backstop, right? All of a sudden, you start to get a little bit in that second guessing mode with the feel of that pitch. We saw this last year in April in 2025, where that sweeper, he just didn't have a good feel for it. And everything you're starting to see end up in the middle of the plate. This can happen when you make that dramatic drop with that arm slot.
Yeah, that fastball was dead red to Correa, and he jumped all over it. Fortunate it was just a single. So the bases are now loaded with Astros as Cam Smith climbs inside. He takes a strike at 97. Pair of singles and a walk has loaded him up for Houston. Hancock ahead 0-2. Smith off to a nice start.
It's the first time that Hancock has faced this Astro ball club. We mentioned there was going to be a good test for him. You get in a situation like this, you want to just limit the damage.
Rivas, he makes the catch. A diving catch to take a hit away. And a critical play with the bases loaded.
You just love the aggressiveness right here by Rivas, diving to his left. Remember the ball off the bat of Paredes just got past him, but not this one. Tremendous play.
Cal wants to go out and have a visit.
That's why they call it the hot corner, right? It's just a pure reaction. You don't have time to take a step. You just see it, step and a dive. Rivas saved a couple of runs right there.
Yeah, if you're young Cam Smith, you're walking back to the dugout shaking your head. You thought you just drove in 2. Brendan Donovan under the weather tonight, so he is not batting leadoff or at third base. Rivas getting the nod over there. He was the Mariners' opening day shortstop when J.P. Crawford began the year on the injured list. Here is Joey Loperfido. He bats 8th tonight, one of just 2 left-handed bats. Bases are loaded, 1 away. And that sweeper in on a lefty is called a strike. Loperfido doesn't agree.
The previous pitch was called a strike. The batter is challenging.
If he loses this, the Astros will be out of challenges. It's very much a strike.
The call is confirmed. Houston is out of challenges.
Boy, they've used him up here early in the evening. And actually, both of them really weren't close.
Not at all, actually. Yeah, the one by Vasquez almost just seemed like a Hail Mary.
Yeah,
the way that the first inning was going for Amai. One. And appealed. He does not go. Hancock falls behind. Jake Myers just landed on the injured list, their normal center fielder, with an oblique injury. So Loperfido now in center field for the Astros. Swing and a miss. 98 that time.
Boy, a great 4-seam fastball from Hancock. He talked earlier about him using a 4-seamer against left-handers and the 2-seamer against the righties. This one had that little elevation with a little giddy up on it.
Where does he go here? On a 2-2. He struck him out. Filthy sweeper, Emerson Hancock. His first strikeout tonight.
Boy, he does this with precision right here after the fastball up and in. Takes a little bit more off of the sweeper at 78 miles an hour. And gets Loperfido out in front for strike 3.
Now 20-mile-an-hour differential in back-to-back pitches there. Here is Vasquez, number 9 hitting catcher. Base is still loaded. Cut on and miss. 97. Bags packed, 2 outs. And Cal wants to challenge.
Seen
Previous
some
pitch
action
was called
here.
a ball. The catcher is challenging.
Cal's done a good job with this so far.
The pitch is a strike. Seattle has 2 challenges remaining.
So that flips the count to 0-2 now.
Great job right here by Cal Raleigh. That ball just getting there right at the bottom of the zone. Now, if you're going to challenge, like who would you rather have challenge? The catcher, the pitcher, or the hitter?
Well, the numbers say catchers are the best.
Clearly.
Hitters are the second best. And pitchers are the worst.
They've got a better advantage, right? They're from their viewing standpoint. They're not emotionally involved like a hitter or a pitcher would be.
Runners all around with 2 outs. Hancock's 1-2. Way outside, almost did it again. That's the 3rd time he's really sprayed a sweeper. And fortunately, Cal was able to keep it in front of him, or otherwise the Astros might have been on the board.
And all 3 of these have been to the righties where he's really pulled it across. Great job right there by Cal. Saving a run.
Here comes his 2-2. Hit hard past Rivas into left field. Paredes scores. Walker comes around, and now Correa on his horse, and he scores standing. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, Christian Vasquez ties the game with a bases clearing double into left field.
This ball's hit right on the button. Tries to run that 2-seamer in. It's about 4 or 5 inches in off the plate. But he pulls his hands in, keeps it fair, and this ball rolls all the way down into that left field corner, giving Correa plenty of time to come all the way around from first base.
Pretty amazed he was able to get to that. So far inside. Pena back to the top of the order, looks at a strike.
Yeah, not an easy task to be able to pull your hands in and get the barrel of the bat on that pitch.
From the number 9 hitter, no less. Oh, 2 on the Astros shortstop.
Hancock doesn't seem like he's found that good release point for that sweeper yet. Not a consistent release point.
Again. This next pitch will be his 30th this inning after a very quick first. Straightaway center field. Julio is underneath it for out number 3. A 30-pitch second, a 3-run second inning by the Astros. Vasquez cleared him off, and we're right back where we started. Well, the Mariners are leveling up their giveaway game all season long, and coming up Friday, April 17th, it's Kingdom Fanny Pack Hat Night. The first 10,000 fans will score this throwback hat thanks to Global Credit Union. Mariners.com/tickets to get yours.
Wait a second. Did you just say a?
Yeah. It's
a fanny pack on your hat. That is my old home now. Spent a lot of years in that brick mausoleum, cement mausoleum.
Well, I think you maybe do a Kingdom Fanny Pack hat.
Bring it on.
JP Crawford leads it off. Mariners sent all 9 to the plate in the first inning. They scored 3 runs. And they are right now wishing that they would have gotten more. They had the bases loaded and 1 out and could not cash in for any more. Okert took over as the Mariners chased Tatsuya Amai out of the game in the first inning in just his 3rd major league start. We've talked about the struggles of this Astros rotation, Astros pitching staff. How about the rotation the last 5 games? 15 innings, 14 runs. Crawford is down swinging. Leadoff man retired.
The Astros lost Hunter Brown, the ace on this staff. Kind of unclear when he might be able to be back in that rotation. They're saying at least 2 weeks, but
I think he's shut down for at least 2 weeks.
Right. And then he's going to have to ramp back up before he gets back on a major league mound.
He and Christian Javier. Javier just landed on the injured list. They need to be removed from his start in Colorado the other day, pulled in the 2nd inning as Cal calls for time. He and Javier both have the same shoulder injury. You don't really hear of too many shoulders anymore for pitchers. Obviously, it's so much attention to the elbow. So they are without their 2 best starters for the foreseeable future. One ball and 1 strike. Gets a whiff on the slider. Bullpen is back up again for the Astros. It's gonna be a long night out there. Ryan Weiss getting loose. Pretty hard throwing right-hander. Ooh, yeah, Cal's gonna challenge that. He's got a chance to when two
The
challenges.
previous pitch was called a strike. The batter is challenging.
One is a catcher, one is a hitter.
Oh yeah, again, not really
The
close.
pitch is the ball. Seattle has 2 challenges remaining.
Cal did not hesitate. As soon as that ball entered the catcher's mitt, he does the head tap.
That was an inch off the plate, and it would have ended the at-bat. That is the beauty of ABS.
I am in 100% agreement with you. I like getting the call correct.
On a 2-2. Walker calling for this in foul territory. You know, we see so many ABS challenges that are scraping some portion of the strike zone, and that's the can of worms you open up with ABS, right? But the spirit, the intent of the automatic ball strike system wasn't so much for those, but it was for what we just witnessed from Cal Raleigh. As a big league hitter, I can't imagine a much worse feeling than having an at-bat robbed from you on a clearly blown call.
No worse feeling, right? You're up there battling, you get to 2 strikes, you foul off a couple of pitches, and then you get rung up on a pitch that was not a strike. How do you feel about the challenges? Would you rather just have it kind of automatic? Because that's what I would prefer.
Automatic in what way?
The umpire has it in his ear and let the ABS call the pitches.
Oh, you're saying straight full robo?
Straight full robo. Let's go.
As a former catcher, I'm very surprised that you feel that way.
Why? I'm not calling the pitches. It's hard.
No, but
calling a major league game behind the dish is very hard.
But what about the craft and the art form of pitch framing? That's such a big part of the job.
But it's kind of gone now, though.
I don't. You think because of the challenge system it's gone?
Yeah. Now you just got to make sure that you receive the ball.
Well, I would
more so than it was a couple of years ago, where you're seeing guys, pick a ball in the dirt and try to move it back into the strike zone.
Well, I think you can make a case that it maybe is slightly less of a factor, but I would point to the fact that the Astros no longer have any challenges tonight. They're out. So if you're Cal Raleigh, you got 7 more innings that you can frame back there. And even then, even if they weren't without challenges, we've seen it. Once you lose a challenge early, their teams have become very hesitant to challenge until a leverage point later in the game. Correa, that's a really nice play by a former Platinum Glove winning shortstop. Our steel scoreboard, Mariners and the Astros even at 3. The insurance you get brought to you by Pimco Insurance. Now, Brian Wu, one of the key staples to this Mariners rotation right now. Top 10 in ERA, a sub-3. But how about this? The best walk rate. No rotation is throwing a higher rate of first pitch strikes, which is such a foundational piece of what the Mariners do, both in the rotation and the bullpen. And 8 quality starts, the most in baseball so far. And for a rotation last year that obviously did not perform like many envisioned it would, in large part because it just simply wasn't healthy. To see the rotation get off to this kind of a start is exactly what you were hoping to see.
Yeah, that first pitch strike number right there, 67.2%. The best pitch in baseball is a first pitch strike.
It is incredible when you talk to either Dan Wilson or Pete Woodworth, Mariners pitching coach, or his sidekick Trent Blank, and you talk about the success the Mariners have had for so many years now on the mound. They make it sound so simple. It's just throw your best stuff and throw it over the plate.
Well, let's start with hitting is hard. And then you get a Brian Wu out there who's throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. It's hard to hit and square up a baseball at that point. And then you start falling behind in the count. Now you start pressing and you're just trying to put the ball in play. You just put the hitter on the defensive when you throw that strike one. Oftentimes I've watched games by Brian and Kirby even. I go, why aren't more guys doing that? Why are you nibbling early on? Just pound the strike zone, and then you can nibble a little bit later on, but make the guy swing the bat.
3-2.
And it could be because pitchers don't hit anymore. And they forget how hard it is to hit.
Alvarez leading things off in the third. Hancock's 3-2 again. He walked him. A lot of walks recently for Jordan. That's how the top of the third begins. One of the Mariners' great strengths is the messaging of this, because when you talk to pitchers who have become indoctrinated with the way that the Mariners think about pitching, whether they've come up in the system or they're from specifically another organization and join the Mariners, they all say the same thing. They really empower you and make you believe. And it's more than just watching Rocky and making you feel on top of the world like you're superhuman, but it's the messaging of, they tell the pitchers, if you throw a first pitch strike, there's a 94% chance the ball's going to come back to your glove. It's either going to be a called strike, a swinging strike, they're going to foul it off, or they're going to put it in play and it's going to be an out.
I'll bet on that.
And what they really do is they change the mindset of so many pitchers to make them believe, if I can throw it over the plate, good things will happen. I shouldn't be scared to do that.
Agreed. And you're talking about believing in a process, a strategy. And I think good teams, good offensive teams, have that same thing from a hitter standpoint.
Well, 96 that time, and Altuve is down on strikes.
You always hear about guys saying, just trust the process. You know, don't worry about the result. Trust the process. Believe in it. And that same would hold true with the pitching staff. A lot of young arms here who you get to the big leagues, and Emerson Hancock's watching Brian Wu and Kirby and Gilbert when they throw strikes early in the count. Gosh, it seems like it's the fifth inning already. Right?
Well, and let's not forget the talent that they have to work with, the coaching staff. This is an organization that has drafted, developed, and acquired pitchers at a more successful rate than anybody. I mean, it really is remarkable.
Well, I believe that's always been a focus, right? They want to really focus on that, because the true championship teams, as you look at them, pitching and defense, right? If you have pitching and defense, you have a chance to win every night. You're not always going to outslug the other team. I mean, look what happened in Texas, right? The Mariners didn't score runs, but they were right there. They were one swing of the bat away.
The 0-2. Well, the Mariners have had numerous seasons winning 90 games with lackluster offense because of the way that they can pitch. And now you look at the team this year, and although it has not played out on the field yet, this is the reason why so many people have picked the Mariners to not only win the division but go remarkably far in October, is because it now feels like they have both. Makings of a double play. And tagged by Naylor to retire the side. Despite that leadoff walk, Hancock faces the minimum.
Welcome back to T-Mobile Park. Brad Adam with you here in the pen. We thought we had fun during the pregame show in the pen, but this during the game in the pen, whole nother level. I'm out here above the retired jerseys to remind fans out there, May 2nd weekend, we've got Randy Johnson. We're celebrating the 80s and also celebrating Randy Johnson. He's got the jersey night on Friday the 1st, first 20,000 fans, and his number retirement ceremony out here in the pen. That's on Saturday the 2nd, 80s pin day on Sunday the 3rd. Team's taking on the Royals that weekend for a 3-game series. So secure your seats at mariners.com/tickets. So we add a stat sheet today. We're going to add another 51 out here in the pen that first weekend in May. And this is the scene. This is where Val should be.
Roger, with all your buddies out there, I see you.
Yeah, you right? All the guys.
Are they feeding you? That's the most important thing.
I've got a few asks out there.
Well, Brad can make it back safely. It's a popular man. It'll be very cool to see another 51 up there. The Mariners retire Randy Johnson's number. New pitcher on the mound, Ryan Weiss. Weiss has pitched the last 2 years in Korea.
Have arm will travel. You'll find a home somewhere.
He is a 29-year-old rookie.
He's got a little bit of everything. He's got a sweeper, a sinker, changeup, four-seam fastball, and a curveball.
That skips in there. 2-2 to Naylor beginning the third. Now, with the Astros as short as they are all of a sudden on starting pitchers, it'll be interesting to see if that changes Weiss's role. He signed a very incentive-laden contract as a starting pitcher, but has transitioned to the bullpen as the Astros signed other starting pitchers, including the one who started tonight, Tetsuya Amai. Kind of moved him down the starting pitcher priority list. 3-2. Fly ball, right field. This is at the wall and caught by Cam Smith. Now a message from Hyundai.
A car that sees what you can't, how it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
One out here is Randy Arozarena, who had an RBI his last time up after being hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Two and one to Randy. He fights this off into shallow right field and in front of Cam Smith for a base hit. Arozarena reaches for the second time. It's a one-out single.
This ball gets in a little bit on the hands of Arozarena. He's got a good bat path right there and just fights it off out there into right field. Good things happen when you put the ball in play. You don't always have to hit it hard, but sometimes you get those little bloopers. That's a beautiful thing.
Here's a throw to keep an eye on Arozarena. The Mariners have struggled with strikeouts this year, 27th in baseball in strikeout rate, but Arozarena has had a very manageable strikeout rate. He's walked a lot this year as well. Pitch to Raley. Raley didn't seem too pleased with that. At the very bottom of the zone. You have to decide so quickly whether or not you want to challenge. There has not been maybe a hard and fast time that's been put out there. It has said a hitter must challenge immediately. I feel like the time is no more than 2 seconds from the time the ball
catches. Kind of a couple of ticks, right?
Yes, and that once that happens, and if you haven't called for it, they're moving on.
Now, I haven't seen anyone try to do it after waiting.
He goes down on strikes. There have been denials. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, there has been a case.
And they've told him that you just waited too long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if the player has some type of physical motion, like not flipping the bat like a bat flip, but dropping the bat down or something along those lines.
Physical reaction.
Yes, like now time's passed. Can't do it now. Here's Cole Young. I think that's one of the things that is much easier when you're at home compared to when you're in the box. You're processing the at bat. I'm I'm imagining here. You tell me. And you're processing, boy, was that a strike? Was it a ball? But then you're also having to think that the situation right now, and is this particular moment in time worthy of a challenge? Like that's a lot. It almost feels like you have to walk to the plate having an idea, if something's close, will I challenge this?
Right.
It's a lot to think about it in the moment.
And that's why I mentioned to you before about the hitter and the pitcher are emotionally involved, right? As a hitter, you're thinking about, okay, what's he going to throw to me here? Fastball, slider, whatever you're looking for. And then you see it and you watch it all the way. And then it's that close. As you're saying, you know, it'd be easy to go, no, wait a second, check that. But given the game circumstance, that has got to come into play. I wonder if certain teams tell certain hitters, hey, by the way, you're not allowed to challenge.
That'll make you feel great.
You're too young in this game, right? Well, especially if somebody's not very disciplined at the plate.
Well, some players just have a more innate feel of the strike zone.
Agreed. There was always a rule in the locker room that you were never allowed to touch the remote control for the TV in the locker room until you were arbitration eligible. So that's about 3 years before you're allowed to touch the remote.
Randy taking off a huge jump, and it's fouled back. Weiss has thrown over there twice now, so Randy getting a little more aggressive with a walking lead.
Starts getting that momentum going. I don't know, was that a walking lead or a running lead?
Full sprint lead. Swing and a miss for strike three. 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Weiss. Pretty impressive inning. He strands that single to a Rosarena. Watch Mariners baseball this season with no local blackouts. Mariners TV lets you stream regular season games in market for $99.99 for the full season or $19.99 a month. You can choose your plan today and start streaming at mariners.tv. Christian Walker leads it off.
You know, I like the release point of that sweeper from Hancock. Repeated. Nicely done. And one of the things that make good pitchers great is being able to make some adjustments on the fly within the baseball game. I'm curious if Ryan, are you there?
Yeah.
So tell me, like, in a game when you were struggling with that release point, is there anything that you would try to do to kind of right the ship?
Well, yeah, you make a great point. Right now he has that, call it unnatural release point. If he used to be 23, 24 degrees and he dipped it down, obviously you talked about trying to get a little bit more of that sweep and that upshoot on the fastball. It can be tough. And you see this pitch right here, he didn't have that consistently in the first couple of innings. I think the biggest adjustment, Val, and you can speak for this too, going with your pitcher in between innings, he came out after that second and you could just tell there's just a different presence to him, where something a little mechanical cue or psychologically something, he was able to come back out in that third, make some adjustments, and you'll start to see, so in 94 right here, you'll start to see that 97, 98 start to come back when he gets into that rhythm once again.
Yeah, he threw a couple of pitches last inning that he almost, it was like an angry pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
When he got up to that 98, like here. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Not feeling for that release point, just kind of just letting it eat. And it's so easy too. And one thing, when you do dip that arm slot down, I have tried that. You know, back when I was trying to find some kind of variation, you have a tendency to leave early on that front foot. You can see he's still frustrated. He's still trying to find it a little bit. But you're not going through the pitch. You're kind of spinning off a little bit off the mound to try and generate some more movement with the body, and that's where you get into trouble. But again, 2 quick outs in the fourth really helps.
Yeah, I think anytime you're trying to add another pitch to your repertoire, it just doesn't come immediately. Right. It takes time.
This is Cam Smith with 2 outs.
And it takes in-game time, not just working on the sidelines, thrown down in the bullpen.
Hyphen, wouldn't you say that this is one of the stuffiest starts we've seen from Hancock?
Yeah, and look, he's still, as you can see, again, I love watching guys in between pitches just as much as you see him during pitches, but you get that quick 3-run lead. You're trying to find something offensively. You're trying to find that energy in the dugout as well. And then you come back out at second and you essentially blow that lead early. So you have to try and find it. Not to mention, too, he has been literally perfect the first couple of outings. See, the bar has been raised a little bit. You're trying to play up to that expectation a little bit.
Hard grounder. Leo Rivas has it at third. Pumps a strong throw across. Emerson Hancock has faced the minimum 3 of the first 4 innings all time.
Mariners.TV.
Muckleshoot Casino Resort Pen Report. As we gaze into those bullpens, lowest bullpen ERA this season. Well, the Mariners among the very best, just 2 teams better. The Astros, meanwhile, some pretty beleaguered relievers right now, an ERA just north of 7. You know, the bullpen has been really worked in terms of innings for this Astros pen as well. As Canzone is in there, Weiss working in long relief. He's done that multiple times already this year. The surefire way to make your bullpen worse is to make them work a ton of innings. That's one of the reasons why the Mariners bullpen has been so good. The rotation has eaten up so many innings of work.
And is there anything worse than a bullpen that is struggling? Your team offense gets you a lead, and then the bullpen comes in and they give it up. I mean, it's just so disheartening.
Yeah, I think the only other argument would be an offense that can't hit, right?
Because 2 ends of that spectrum, right?
I mean, truthfully, every team looks bad when you can't score runs. There's just no other way around it. Canzone whiffs on a changeup, and there is one away. But to your point, when you score 5 or 6 and you feel good about it, and then all of a sudden you need to get 9 more outs and a trio of relievers coughs it up and you lose the game, that might be an even bigger gut punch because you had it, now you lost it.
Yes. There's an emotional toll when you blow a game late in the lead late in the game.
Rivas takes a strike.
That's why guys like Mariano Rivera kind of just ruined it for all relievers.
Well, the Astros are without their closer, Josh Hader. He's been out all season long because of injury. And he'll be out for at least a couple more weeks, it sounds like. Now, there's a reason why there's only so many relievers who are good year after year after year. It is among the most fickle jobs in all of sports, being a big league reliever, and the few who can do it exceptionally well year over year find themselves pitching in the 9th inning. Or the 8th.
Yeah, the shelf life of a great closer. You know, you don't see a 10-year career of a guy saving 30 to 50 games a year.
It's pretty rare. Off the plate, a full count, missing with 97. Hader certainly is one of them. Munoz looks to be on that kind of a path for the Mariners. This is roped into right field. Rivas with a firm base hit in the 9-hole. 1 out, 1 on to the Ford Sports Desk Hyphen.
Hey, I just want to tell Val to ease up on the bullpen. We're not trying to give up runs. Hey, listen, it's the most lonely feeling walking back in the dugout after you've just given up a lead coming in the 6th or 7th, especially when your offense is trying to get clicking. That is for sure. But hey, look, they're out there. They're slapping hands every time. You know, Leo Rivas has got that little base hit out there clapping away. Let me tell you.
Hyphen only is speaking of what he observed from other relievers.
Correct. That's right.
Not from his own experience. Top of the order now, third time up for J.P. Crawford, 1 out, 1 on. Mariners scoring 3 runs in the first, trying to get the lead back here in the 4th inning.
That is the one thing about this game of baseball. Because it is so hard, I don't care who you are. Could be any of those numbers retired out there. It will bring you to your knees. Literally, figuratively. It is a difficult game to play day in and day out and be great.
Rivas back into the dive safe. One out, 1 on. On a 2-1. He walked him. Now the Mariners in business with 1 out of the 4th inning. Here comes Cal Raleigh.
We talked about JP and that on-base percentage average being better in that leadoff spot. That's his 2nd walk of the game.
One out, 2 on for Cal. Mariners have the go-ahead run with some pretty good speed. Rivas in scoring position. Astros are out of challenges. That was a pretty close pitch.
It looked like Vasquez wanted to do it, but realized that they were all out.
Zips in a heater. Base hit can give the Mariners the lead here in the 4th inning. The Mariners able to knock out Tatsuya Amai in the 1st inning. In fact, he recorded just 1 out. Long night for Espada's bullpen. Here comes the 1-2. Rip foul. And what an impact this could potentially have on the rest of the series when you make the other team's bullpen get 26 outs in the first game of a 4-game series.
And there's also a couple of day games as well, so much quicker turnaround on Sunday.
Sunday, then a rare Monday day game. Wraparound series here with the Astros. Another foul ball. Cal trying to give the Mariners the lead in the 4th inning.
Good take.
Back foot sweeper misses. Long at bat. We've seen this already this year from Cal. He had a 12-pitch AB against DeGrom that he homered on. He does not go.
Good changeup right here from Weiss. Cal. Call goes his way.
Now, no Mariner has more homers on 10-pitch at-bats in franchise history than Cal. Here is pitch number 10. Broke his bat. Soft fly ball. Smith near the line in right field. He makes the catch. Rivas tagging, and he is safe with a headlong slide. Cal moves the runner, but is out number 2.
Rivas reads this ball very quickly, realizes that the right fielder, Smith, has got to play, goes back and moves up 90 feet. You got to take every foot you can whenever you have the opportunity. We've already seen a wild pitch score a run.
Here's Julio. Go ahead run 90 feet away. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. Inside out to Smith. Straightaway right field, backs him up in front of the warning track. A busy man makes the catch. And the Mariners strand 2. Well, we were talking about this a little bit earlier tonight. May 2nd, the Royals are in town, and Randy Johnson gets his number 51 immortalized here at T-Mobile Park. Mariners.com/big unit. We cannot wait for that. All tied beginning the 5th. Low Perfido leads things off. If Hancock can retire the side in order, Alvarez will have to wait until the 6th. Right back where it came from, up the middle into center field. Low Perfido, a leadoff single. For Emerson Hancock, pretty big shift in his usage this year. If you look at the 4-seamer and the sweeper last year compared to this year, Val, the 4-seamer usage up considerably, and the sweeper was a pitch that really kind of broke out at the very end of last year as a reliever, and that's why that number is so low. He's throwing it a quarter of the time this year. We've seen a lot of those sweepers tonight as well. Leadoff man reaching in front of Vasquez. Low Perfido takes off as this is fouled for strike 1. The one thing we have noticed from Hancock in his 2 starts is he has kind of altered the 4-seamer and 2-seamer usage depending on the lineup. And interestingly tonight, he is still really riding the 4-seamer despite only 2 left-handed hitters for the Astros. In his first start, he threw a ton of 4-seamers, and he faced almost exclusively lefties with the Guardians. In his most recent start, we saw the 2-seamer be used much more frequently, running it in to all the right-handed bats the Angels had. So we thought maybe he would choose that plan of attack against all these right-handed hitters of the Astros. Only 2 lefties that they have. But it's been more 4-seamers tonight.
Yeah, and those 4-seamers have certainly been very effective against the left-handed hitters. And when I look at his arsenal from last year to this year, it seems like he's just simplified things. He's not trying to command 5 different pitches. He's believing in that slider. As we talked about, changing the degree of his arm angle. It's down to 13%. Gives that fastball a little bit more ride to it.
I wonder too how much of it is his fastball, his four-seamer is really up tonight. We've seen him early innings 97, 98, as this is clearly above the zone on our EQC tracer, and the Astros are out of challenges, so that's a strike according to our home plate umpire. Two and two. I mean, there must have been countless times in your career behind the plate where you had a game plan with a certain pitcher, and then the game started and you noticed, well, man, this one pitch that we weren't planning on leaning on quite as heavily, this pitch is alive tonight for him for whatever reason. Maybe we should go to that more, as it turns out.
And that's where the adjustments come in game, right? You go out to the bullpen. I always tried to catch my starting pitcher in the bullpen before he came in, just because I wanted to get a feel for what his fastball looked like. Was it coming out of his hand with a little extra life? What was the breaking pitches looking like? But then as soon as you cross that line, man, it could be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like, wait a second, where's the guy that I just caught down in the bullpen? Who are you? But then that's where you start to have to make those adjustments in game.
Double barrel action for Dan Wilson, lefty and a righty. Bizzardo and Spire getting loose. The top of the order is due up next. It will be the 3rd time through. Swing and a miss. Low Perfido is safe. See if the Mariners want to challenge this or not. Look close.
Young does a nice job of catching this ball off the bounce and putting a very quick tag down.
Mariners will challenge. Does he come off the bag at all?
Seattle's challenging the state call at second base.
Looks like he got him right on the helmet.
That's a good angle right there. New York might need to splice a couple of angles together to see a clear tag of the helmet and where the hand, his hand is. The left foot of Young blocks an angle there on the lip of the bag, but if you put these two together and time sync them, you might have something here.
Yeah, I think that's the angle right there that gives you the best look of the tag on the helmet. The one from behind home plate makes it look like he was safe, but Young staying with the one hopper again drops a very quick tag down. It looks like the glove gets the helmet. Good shot right there
on our Snoqualmie Supermo.
We got some good cameramen here.
Right there.
Yeah, that's a telltale right there.
All right, that's where he first tags his helmet. And this is the same timestamp from the other angle. Can we definitively say that that oven mitt is not touching the front of the bag? I mean, that's the question.
He's still trying to extend that left arm in there. I don't think the mitt has reached.
You know, I don't think it has either, but can you definitively say that? Let's find out.
Field is overturned. The runner's out. Seattle retains their challenge.
Yes, you can. Now, this has been a very strong night tonight from the challenge standpoint and the ABS challenge standpoint for the Mariners.
It's amazing how much instant replay has changed the tag and how guys are trying to apply it. No longer are they reaching back to the bag. They just want to touch any part of the body, whether it's the bottom of the foot or the head of the top of the helmet.
Well, strike him out, throw him out, and suddenly 2 away for the top of the order. That didn't sound great. Pena hobbling that one off for a moment. 0-2.
He's that good look at that two-seamer right there, right off the inside of that left leg.
He's still got 97 cooking for him. '85 pitches. Bullpen is ready. Alvarez due up next. Spire is loose. And Cal's going out.
And I was just looking and thinking about that last tag play at second base. Cal doesn't get off a great throw. It's a one-hopper, but it's right on the money. But watch the patience of Cole Young, not trying to reach out for the ball, but he waits. And he just drops that tag straight down. Now, if he's in front of the bag and he reaches to try to catch that one-hopper, he's safe. There's no question about it. I mean,
because then you have to pull the glove back.
Yes, because you cannot travel as fast as a baseball, right? Your tag. But he waited for that ball to come to him, dropped a very quick tag. Great job by the young second baseman.
First full year in the majors. Hancock trying to finish a full 5. His 2-2. Jammed him at 96. Well, he has really held his velocity tonight. Approaching 90 pitches. Two. He got him. Emerson Hancock, a vicious sweeper, faces the minimum for the 4th time in 5 innings.
In this country,
Tonight's Ballpark Smile Moments are brought to you by Delta Dental of Washington, where every great play brings out another great smile. A beautiful night here inside T-Mobile Park and a nearly full house. Josh Naylor leads it off. This is getting out of play, and Correa gave it a long run.
Both those guys had to go a long way just to get in the neighborhood of that pop-up.
Hit hard up the middle. Naylor with a base hit. Nice way to start the 5th for the Mariners. Bullpen is up for the Astros. Weiss has been pitching since the 3rd.
When you're struggling, you just never know what is going to break loose the dam. Naylor rips this one right back through the middle. Mariners hoping to get that bat red hot.
Watch out. 95 upstairs. Almost 50 pitches for Weiss. JP France just recalled. Warming up inside Joe Espada's bullpen. This is a rare night where a hitter gets multiple looks at the same reliever. Second at bat for Randy against Weiss. Almost nicked him. 3-0.
This two-seamer just keeps running in on the hands of Arozarena. Earlier got hit on that left wrist.
He was on his way to first. Let's see if Randy, now is that a...
I'm mad at myself, or I'm mad at the umpire and I want him to check.
Wow! Wow! Randy house call! Man! Second deck! That's a sight for sore eyes. Strike one to Raley.
Well, he stayed very patient at the plate. Got that high piece of cheese and just crushed that ball into the upper deck.
Randy's first this year. And the Mariners now playing with the lead once again.
Could not have come at a better time.
That flunders outside. Raley ahead, 2-1. Mariners' first run since the first inning. Just low on a heater, full count. Fastball strikes out Raley, one away. Back to the Randy homer.
There's a high fastball, and he knew it. He stayed right in the batter's box till this ball gently landed above the Starbucks sign out there in the second deck. Strike oppose.
Off the plate ball, 1-2 Young.
It's good to see the Mariners put some runs up on the board here tonight. 3 in the first, 2 here so far in the bottom of the 5th.
There's got to be something too in that dugout when your guys are getting it done, right? When Randy or Julio or Naylor or Cal, when they're having hot stretches and when they're carrying the mail like you know that they can, that has to come with it a certain feeling in the dugout, like, hey, we're going to be okay.
It brings a confidence. It's kind of hard to describe, but you look up and down the dugout and you're thinking, okay, we got him. He's swinging the bat with the way we know he can. And regardless of what the score might be, you're always thinking, we're going to come back. We might be down right now, but we're going to come back. We're going to put some runs up on the board.
Weiss is done. JP France has been warming. We've got a pitching change, one out, bottom of the 5th inning.
In the This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
Randy Arozarena, 2-run home run, second deck left field. Now the Mariners have taken a 5-3 lead. We take you down to the Ford Sports Desk. Hyphen, we were just talking about when your big guys are doing big things. Right. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, well, I'm here, obviously dugout level down there. I keep peering in, taking a look inside just to kind of see what the energy's like, especially too, you had a 3-0 lead in the first inning. You're trying to get clicking offensively. Then obviously the game gets tied up. But Val made a good point, man. When you have your big dogs in the middle of that lineup, not doing a whole lot when Cal, Josh Naylor, Julio aren't doing big things, and they're trying to manufacture some of that energy, it can be so tough. And look, you're happy for the other guys in that lineup, but man, you want the middle of that lineup doing their thing, just trying to inject some kind of energy into this offense and the team in general as well.
Yeah, brought it to the ballpark also, that home run from Randy. This is JP France, just recalled today with a couple of different roster moves for the Astros because of some injuries. Most notably, Christian Javier, one of their starting pitchers, has landed on the injured list alongside Hunter Brown. France has spent a little bit of time in the big leagues the last 2 years, but the bulk of his big league time coming back in 23. He made 23 starts for the Astros and pitched well. Haven't seen much of him since then. Fouled at the plate with Young taken off.
Astros have been throwing Canzone a steady diet of breaking balls.
Two and two. Keeping an eye on Cole Young. Young takes off, pitches high and wide, and Young tries to avoid it, and he's out. Was that a little bit of a pitch out? It kind of looked like one. They were pretty mindful of Cole Young.
It looked like Vasquez was just set up on the outside part of the plate after throwing a number of sliders. This pitch is up and away. Good pitch to throw on. Pena misses the first tag but stays with it.
Yeah, clearly off the bag. It was the right call by the umpire there. So 2 outs, the base is now empty. Canzone draws a walk. Here comes Rivas. Well, the Mariners have drawn their fair share of walks tonight. They've walked 7 times while striking out 6 times. Canzone lead at first base. Two and 0.
Mariners so far tonight have 7 walks, showing some great patience up at the plate.
I agree. 3 balls, no strikes to Rivas.
With the call or
the patience?
With the patience. It's kind of a delayed reaction.
Another walk. That's 3 straight walks by Mariner hitters. Unfortunately, Young caught stealing, and that took a base runner off for the Mariners. Top of the order, J.P. Crawford. Seventh batter this inning for the Mariners. Hit hard on 1 hop. Paredes at second base, and the Mariners strand a pair. But they get 2 on Randy's second deck home run, and the Mariners lead it after 5.
Behold!
Our Chevy Silverado drive of the game just moments ago. Randy staring down this second deck dinger on a go-ahead shot. Randy's first of the season. Emerson Hancock done tonight after 5 innings, Val.
Well, he battled. He had that 1 inning that he struggled with a couple walks. But again, he kind of kept him down. He did not allow it to get a little bit too far out of hand. 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. All of them were earned. 5 strikeouts on 88 pitches. Did a good job of damage control. They could have got away very quickly.
6th inning begins. Gabe Spire is on left facing Yordan Alvarez.
Spire's appeared in 6 ball games and given up just 2 earned runs.
Well, this is a soft loop, and it drops in for a base hit. Alvarez, a left single. Here's Altuve. Altuve with 2 home runs this year. Strike 1. He is the tying run at the plate for the Astros. Soft fly ball. Julio trots in. Dangerous hitter retired, 1 away. On August 8th, the Mariners are hosting one of the biggest events of the year. It's 50 season celebration night presented by Daktronics. Don't miss this special ceremony honoring the greatest players, moments, and milestones in franchise history. Mariners.com/50. What a night that should be. Isaac Paredes is at the plate. Get him in the foot. Yes, it did. So now Alvarez is at second. Paredes reaches for the second time, hit by this pitch.
A little back foot slider, and actually does get him right on top of that right foot. Paredes holding up his swing.
One out, two on. And some power at the plate in Christian Walker. Off to a very strong start. They'll need a new bat. Oh, and 2. Well, it is a 2-run lead for the Mariners, but this is one of the best offenses in baseball early on this year. Second only to the Dodgers in runs per game. Second in average and OPS. The highest WRC plus in baseball this year. They lead the majors in extra base hits. Even though they were just swept, which, I mean, that's kind of the wild thing, right? That these numbers remain this great after being swept and kind of held down by the Rockies of all teams in Coors Field of all places.
Yeah, we were mentioning earlier, you're thinking that they're going to come away with maybe 30 runs scored in Colorado. Instead, they got outscored 23-9. Walker, one of the big reasons for that. Running a 5-game hitting streak.
Now this lineup has gotten off to the perfect start this year. Now the Mariners are going to try to hold them down the rest of the way. First and second, one away. And this is in. Mariners bullpen is up. Bizzardo is warming. You've got 2 more right-handed hitters due up next in Correa and Smith. This is the 4th batter for Spire. Ground ball. It takes Young right to the bag. A step on second. An easy double play. And Gabe Spire gets out of what was looking like maybe some hot water brewing. For the bottom of the 6th inning, Mariners still maintain a 2-run lead.
Good things come.
Everybody's hanging out on the Moose Den out there towards center field. We make our way to the bottom of the 6th inning. Mariners have a 5-3 lead. Cal leads it off.
Mariners looking for some insurance runs here. We talked earlier about when your big guys are hitting their stride, what that does to a locker room and a dugout. I don't know about you, but I want more of Cal Raleigh and 60 home runs. Just remember what that was like last summer.
Something this game has never seen before from a catcher. I know you guys were different players, different hitters, but you did play the same position. I mean, can you even imagine? Forget just the ability to get the ball in the air like Cal does better than almost anybody and the strength, the power he has. But can you imagine, as a former big league catcher, ever hitting that many home runs in a season?
Absolutely not. It wouldn't even like come across your mind in a dream.
Sure.
I mean, I grew up in New York City, right? My dad's favorite player was Mickey Mantle. When Cal got to 54, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like he's going to break Mickey Mantle, like kind of one of the iconic players in all of baseball history. Switch hitter, hitting 54, then 55, and he just kept on going. Just absolutely amazing what we saw and what we witnessed. I told people last winter, and people would always kind of bring it up, oh, what do you think? I was like, we just got a chance to watch Babe Ruth. Like 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they're going to be talking about Cal Raleigh like we talk about Babe Ruth. And he was a catcher. I mean, truly a magical season. You go from the home run derby and the all-star game, right? His dad's out there. He wins that. It was just like everything was moving in the right direction for Cal. And deservedly so. I think, you know, not 2 winters ago, he came and went home on a mission to get better from the right side. And we saw all of those numbers.
Julio scoops this in the air out to left field. Alvarez doesn't have to move much. There is one away.
I mean, all of those numbers increased. His power numbers, his home runs from the right side, his batting average, on-base percentage. People say, like, oh, so what was it? I was like, if you look at his career, every single year he got better at every little thing. Not just catching, but on the hitting, his approach with runners in scoring position. 125 RBIs. I mean, come on. How many guys get a chance to do that within their career? Very, very few.
Naylor at the plate fouls it away for strike 1.
You know, I think of this past winter, right? The big prize in the free agency was Tucker, Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker hit 260, drove in 83 RBIs, I believe, and hit 27 home runs. And he was the prize. He's now the highest paid player in the game of baseball.
On an average annual value.
Correct. So what we witnessed last year from the production of Cal Raleigh, playing every day too, by the way, whether it's DHing or catching, I don't care. Mentally, you still have to put forth so much mental energy.
Just foul.
Just a very, very special year. Happy that I had a chance to witness it.
Well, that's the thing. We who haven't lived your life, or Cal's, we can't fully comprehend the amount of hours he spends during the day working for people other than himself, the pitching staff. While everyone else is just focused on their swing, Cal is trying to maintain 2 swings.
Yes.
As a switch hitter and be ready for his pitching staff. And then we haven't even accounted for the physical toll that the position takes.
And one of my former teammates who was a switch hitter, Harold Reynolds, former roommate, Harold would always remind people, hey, I got 2 swings I got to worry about. And Cal did it so effortlessly, going from one side to the other. Was it a day game? He hit 2 home runs, 58 and 59. Do you remember that in September?
Looked like Josh was maybe thinking about challenging that. Strike 3 called. Well, he had a lot of games with 2 home runs. Well, 59 and 60 came in the same game. On the same night where the Mariners won the division.
Maybe we can have our crack research staff pull up that info.
He hit 2 home runs the day where he broke Salvador Perez's record, I believe.
That was the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Day game. Yes.
Hit 48 and 49. Salvador set the record for a catcher back in 21. I talked to Salvador Perez last year during that series, and I asked him, so what happened in 21 when you hit 48 homers? And he said, I have no idea. The next year he hit 23, 23 again, 27. Last year he hit 30. It's been his only season of even 40 home runs. Pena ranging to his right, a step into the grass, and he throws to second for the final out. The Mariners leave a man, and after 6, Mariners have the lead.
Moderate.
Mariners TV is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's new Smash Jack Sliders Munchie Meal with a chance to win the $75,000 prize for Jack's 75th anniversary. And by Holland America, the only cruise line offering an Alaska Glacier guarantee, Seattle's hometown cruise line. A great crowd on hand tonight on a Friday night from T-Mobile Park. And the Mariners holding a 5-3 lead. This one's setting up well for the Mariners bullpen if they can hold it. Spire is scoreless 6th, and now he turns the keys over to Bizzardo in the 7th.
Bizzardo taking over here. He's appeared in 5 ball games so far. 4.2 innings, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Bizzardo basically a 2-pitch pitcher. He's got that sinker and a sweeper.
Cal wants to challenge this.
The previous pitch was called a ball. The catcher is challenging.
I think he got it on the money again. Wow.
The pitch is a strike. Seattle has 2 challenges remaining.
And it's been a flawless night so far from the challenges standpoint, both with the ABS and from the dugout.
So do we have a record yet in Major League Baseball? What's the most amount of challenges by one team?
I feel like a team has won 7 or so in a game. There's certainly been that many overturned, but I believe that there's been a team that has won that many.
Singular, not just per game, right?
Correct. Well, I'm sorry, rephrase that.
One team has had 7.
Oh, for the whole season?
No.
Oh, you're talking about in one game. Yes, that's what we're talking about, the same thing. Which, now that I'm saying that out loud, that does seem like a lot for one team. That must have been just a total amount of calls overturned in one game, both sides combined. I'll tell you who put on a clinic behind the plate on the last road trip, Logan O'Hoppe.
Oh, yeah?
The Angels catcher. He's been one of the best in the game so far. He had a game where he went 4 for 4 behind the plate.
Not quite the same as going 4 for 4 at the plate, but still pretty good.
It's a new definition. This is hit firmly into center field, but right at Julio. Well, if you want to catch every pitch this season, Mariners TV has you covered. Stream regular season games in market with no local blackouts for just $99.99 for the full season or $19.99 a month. Mariners.tv to start watching today. Sweeper lands for a strike. Does so again. 0-2 on Cam Smith. All right, I'm being told that the Twins, who have been one of the most aggressive teams, and this would make sense when you hear the rest of the story, they won 8 challenges in one game.
Wow. Did they get any wrong? Or just 8 for 8?
I work better when you give me all your questions up front.
Okay.
Just get them all out, and then we don't have to go back to the well again.
Well, it's just a discussion that's kind of evolving.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the discussion's gonna be paused a few times then. Let me go through my mental database of the ABS system through 2 weeks for 30 teams. If you just give me a moment. The 2-2. The Rockies have won 7 tonight. TBD as to whether or not they've lost any, but they've won 7.
You didn't let me ask the question.
On a 3-2. Fly ball right field. Raley is there. Circles around it. 2 down. Twins with 8-1 Val. Pretty good.
That is very good. I'll take those odds.
Loperfido the batter.
Zardo's got a good feel for that sweeper. Landing it against the righties and lefties both.
Two outs, nobody on. Another fly ball. Julio drifts to his left. Bizzardo, a 1-2-3 7th inning. Time to stretch. Mariners have the lead. Mariners TV is brought to you by the Washington Lottery. Washington's lottery helps fund the Washington Grant, free money for college training and apprenticeships. They got some Munoz fans out there by the bullpen. Luke Raley leads things off. 5-3 Mariners beginning the bottom of the 7th. Well, we've seen this before. Raley is aboard. France hits him on the first pitch. And that brings up Cole Young. Mariners have had a lot of traffic without a lot of hits, to put it very simply.
Yeah, you take a look, they're just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. But yet they've managed to put 5 runs up.
Well, the Mariners only have 5 hits, but they've been hit multiple times. And they have drawn 9 walks. On the ground into right field. Young, a base hit. Raley rumbles into third base, and the Mariners in business. They've got him on the corners.
Good base running by Raley, going first to third on this sharply hit ball off the bat of Young. Young gets his fastball up and away and rips it right back through the middle. Raley going on contact. Gets over to third base easily. As the Mariners looking to put some insurance runs up on the board.
108 off the bat from Cole Young. Raley at third, Young at first. Here's Canzone. Okay, let's take a look at this situation right here for the Mariners. You've got runners on the corners looking for insurance. Nobody's out. You have to find a way to cash in here, don't you?
You got to take advantage of it. I mean, I thought they missed a few opportunities early in the ball game when they had some bases loaded opportunities. They did score 3 in the bottom of the first, but there was a couple more that they could have added on. But here in the 7th inning, you got to continue to add on.
Infield is in. Fly ball can bring home a run.
Again, in this situation, approaches everything as a hitter. You can't be thinking I'm going to try to pull something. You want to put something in play. You're looking for something elevated in the strike zone. At this point now with 2 strikes, now you're battling. I just want to put the ball in play.
0-2. Fly ball right center field. It's a gapper. Short hop in the wall. Raley in. Young held at third. Dom Canzone drives in a little bit of insurance in the 7th inning. 6-3 Mariners.
Well, that's what we're talking about right there. 0-2 pitch, not a good one. From France, he leaves this one elevated right out over the plate. And Canzone puts a charge into this one, hopping the wall out there in right field. Raley goes back to tag, comes around to score easily. Young held up over at third. It's all about the face, not just the hand gesture. As an Italian, it's about the face. It's the scrunching of the face.
Pretty sure those words have never been said on our telecast before. But it makes perfect sense. 2nd and 3rd for the Mariners. To the backstop. Young sprinting home, and he slides in safe. 7-3 Mariners.
Another wild pitch by the Astros as Raley comes around to score. At first I thought that ball might have gotten a piece of the uniform of Rivas. It's not called as Young comes in to score.
That's the 2nd run to score on a wild pitch today for the Mariners.
Situational hitting is so important when you're trying late in a ball game to add runs. Nobody out, men on third.
That was ball 4. And Vasquez having a long talk with the home plate umpire. Remember, the Astros are out of challenges.
Looks like he might be right.
And that was on the edge. If that would have been challenged, if they could have, that would have been a strike. Let's see. EQC tracer, very much so. That's the 10th walk tonight by the Mariners. Yes, it is.
Wow. Hard to win when you're putting on 10 runners.
JP just pulls it foul. Canzone at third. Rivas at first base. Nobody out still. With 2 on Crawford. Up the middle into center field. Canzone scores. Rivas into third. JP Crawford with a ribby base hit. Now the Mariners just keep on playing add-on in the 7th inning. It's 8-3.
Looks like JP's asking for the baseball right there. Little seeing eye base hit. right back through the middle. This ball gets in on his hands, right around the label of the bat. Not hit very hard, but hit perfectly. As Pena unable to stop that ball, JP giving thanks.
Here's Cal. Fouls away the first pitch. Easy take off the plate. And Yaldero Santos beginning to warm up. France having a pitch in this long night for the Astros bullpen. Just recalled. Yesterday, Christian Javier could only pitch 1 inning before leaving because of injury. And tonight, Tatsuya Amai lasted only 2/3 of an inning before being knocked out. The 1-2. What an exhausting couple of days for this Astros bullpen. Now, they did have a day off in between. Two. Almost took a button off. 3-2. By the way, this is the first time the Mariners have drawn 10 walks in a 9-inning game since April of 22. And they are 1 pitch away from drawing their 11th. They haven't drawn 11 walks in a game since September of 2019. Tackled. Paredes gets off the throw. It does bring home a run. It was kind of slow motion over there. Rivas crosses home. This has been quite the inning of insurance for the Mariners. It's now 9-3.
Those insurance runs will make you breathe easier in the 8th and 9th. Cal hitting this ball right off the end of the bat. Paredes, normally a third baseman, playing second base. Makes a nice little diving grab right there.
Here's Julio. He was geared up. All 9 batters have now scored. Borderline bottom of the zone, 0-2. JP stays put. This has been a 4-run 7th inning and a chance for more. One, two. 3 balls, 2 strikes. De Los Santos ready in the bullpen. Crawford at second base, 1 away. Rifle down the line, foul. If the Mariners find a way to get to 11 runs in this game, which, you know, 1 swing from Julio, you'd be right there. That would match their run total from the previous 5 games combined. All of which have been losses. Mariners trying to snap an L5 here tonight. Randy really getting the good vibes going down there with that 5th inning home run to the second deck. Mariners took the lead then and haven't looked back. 3-2. That is strike 3 call. Curveball catching a lot of the plate. 2 outs. Here comes Naylor. Crawford at second, 2 away.
Josh was one of the guys that were out here at the ballpark early, taking some extra batting practice.
Off the bat. I couldn't remember the last time I've seen so many guys on the field for early BP.
There was quite a bit when I walked in too. I was like, man, what time is it? I think I got here about 2:15 and they were already out there.
Well, they knew what they had to do.
At first I was like, what time does the game start? Is it a 4 o'clock start today? Speaking of which, the player that slept through his alarm clock.
Oh yes, the Royals catcher.
That's the nightmare that wakes you up at 2 a.m. in the morning. You're driving to the ballpark and the stadium's full and you're like, what? I can't even imagine what that young man must have felt like.
Naylor strikes out to retire the side. 8 batters, 4 runs in. All right, let's take you back. Let's time shift this thing a little bit, Val. 3:15 this afternoon. Yeah, our production crew was hard at work, and most of the Mariners were as well, and it's worked out for them so far. Mariners take the lead of the 8th. An update from down on the farm in Double-A Arkansas. Cade Anderson making just his 2nd professional start, and he was incredible. 5 no-hit scoreless innings. He walked 2. Let's not bury the lead here. He struck out 11 hitters, 70 pitches, 48 strikes, 14 swing and misses. By the way, shout out to the Travs in-house TV with that picture-in-picture that they had there. Here's the final line for Cade Anderson against Double-A Wichita. As we go down to the Ford Sports Desk. Hyphen, it's been a pretty impressive start to the former first-round draft pick's career.
Yeah, the fact first of all, you mentioned the fact it's his 2nd start. Now, talking about having him start the year in High A, but he went ahead and started the year in Double-A and just dominating. 21 years old, hasn't pitched, pro ball last year, but had a chance to talk to him. When he came up to Seattle last year and then seeing him in spring training, one of the big things for him was putting some more weight on. He's got that, that smaller frame and just trying to get stronger. But Goldie, I do have one comp to a former lefty who was an absolute stud. And I asked Cade when he was here, I said, who do you look up to? Who do you try and, mimic on the mound? He said Max Fried. And I said to him, watching him pitch, I see some Cole Hamels. I mean, can you see some, remember Cole Hamels, lefty, the Phillies?
Absolutely.
I mean, to me, every time I watch him pitch, man, he looks like a young Cole Hamels, that changeup, that fastball at the top of the strike zone. But, man, I'm excited to see him here in T-Mobile.
Vasquez finds a base hit into center field.
I just saw 70 pitches and 11 punch-outs. Wow. That's just like motoring through a lineup.
And Val's second start in Pro Bowl, too.
Amazing.
At Double-A. It's unreal. I get it, man. The game's getting younger, and 19-year-olds are coming. Like Connor Griffin just signed that extension. Obviously, Cole Emerson is about to be here at some point this season. But, man, just the fact that at that level doing what he's doing, it's so impressive.
Shout out, by the way, to an absolute must follow, Mariners Miners on Twitter at MILB Mariners. It is an essential follow for any Mariner fan, especially the state of the farm, not just this year, but in recent years. Pena fouls this away. 98 from Cole Wilcox, who's taken over. Hit through the left side and hit hard. Pena finds a single into left, his first base hit tonight. First two men are aboard for the Astros here in the 8th. Well, this game was really lining up for Spire to Bizzardo to Brash and then eventually Munoz. It was a 3-run game for a while, but the Mariners then pushing 4 runs across in the 7th, and Brash sat down and Wilcox is taking his place on the mound now.
Alvarez, one of the better complete hitters in the game of baseball. Hits righties, hits lefties. He's done some damage to the Mariners over the years. In 65 games against the Mariners, he's lifetime .309 hitter, .598 OPS.
Now, Val, what are you doing?
He's just one of those. When he shows up here, he just has an ability. His 18th home run against the Mariners.
Well, he has dramatically changed this game. It's a 3-run game now, and all of a sudden Andres Munoz is very much in play. So the lead a little less comfortable now. 9-6 Mariners with nobody out, mind you, in the 8th inning.
Alvarez gets this little slider right down the middle. Not a lot of movement to it. And this one is a no question home run to right field.
That brings up Altuve with the bases empty, nobody out. 3-run contest now. 0-2. Brash, who had sat down, is now back up. Well, you were certainly hoping to not have to use Brash and Munoz when this game was 9-3. You were thinking you could give them an extra day off. A big Baltimore chop practically. Crawford, and in time. That was a big bounder, and JP played that perfectly.
JP charging hard. Gets that ball transferred to his throwing arm. He gets rid of it very quickly, just in time to nab Altuve over at first base.
The Mariners might be trying to give Brash a little more time here. Pete Woodworth out for a visit. One out, nobody on. The ability of a reliever to get the heart rate up, get the emotions ready, then shut it back down, and now have to get back up and do it again. Here is Paredes. Hyphen, that's got to be one of the hardest parts about being out there in the bullpen, is the fact that as the game ebbs and flows, so does your potential need to go warm up and then go out and face a big league hitter. This is popped straight back and foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
For sure, Goldie. I mean, especially too, I was thinking about this too, because I was looking out for Brash. Obviously, Munoz, you're talking about lining them up. You get that 4 spot in the 7th inning, you kind of put your feet up. They'll never admit it, but all of a sudden, you get in a situation like this, and you got to just hurry up and get moving, and get your, not so much physically get ready, but mentally get your head around the fact that you're going to be coming in this game, because 10-15 minutes ago you kind of put your feet up thinking, all right, I'm going to be sitting out this one as the Mariners got that big lead.
Yeah, is he ready now? Because after that hit by pitch, the tying run now shows up on deck for the Astros with 1 out.
This fastball just rides right up and in and gets him on that left forearm. Paredes got a lot of gear of protection.
Brash is coming in. 3-run home run, a hit by pitch. And Matt Brash coming on in a 3-run game in the 8th inning.
Okay, now that you've bundled your boat and RV with your home and
the Mariners are lighting up the sky with fireworks nights thanks to T-Mobile. Don't miss out on 8 shows this summer, with the fun kicking off Friday, May 29th. You can see the full calendar and get your tickets mariners.com/fireworks. Matt Brash has entered the ball game. Things becoming a little more real all of a sudden. It's a 3-run game with a man aboard and 1 out in the 8th inning.
Brash has appeared in 4 ball games, has not given up an earned run yet. He's got 4 strikeouts, no walks. And for the first game of his season, of his series, Dan Wilson does not want to let this one go.
Well, the Mariners losing a game when they score 9 runs would be disastrous at this point. And a first pitch strike from Brash. So the Mariners setup man coming on here. Brash to face Christian Walker. Walker off to a fantastic start to his season. 1 out, 1 on. Brash behind. Ground ball. Rivas has it come right to him. Young's ready. On to first base. And it's in time for the double play. Matt Brash puts out the flames in the top of the 8th inning. Mariners maintain the lead.
Another day.
9-6 Mariners going to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mariners have drawn a remarkable 10 walks in this game tonight. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. They have been really easy takes on ball 4. In fact, the only 2 edge pitches, Val, at the bottom and then to the right on the strike zone, were both once the Astros were out of challenges.
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful using those challenges early in the ball game. But the Astros mostly the relievers, including their starter today. Amai really struggled with locating.
This is Enio de los Santos. Yeah, Amai walked 4 of the first 7 batters and then was pulled from the game. Well, the Mariners a chance to get some of those runs back here. Down on strikes. Rosarena is out number 1. By the way, the double play ball that ended the inning off the bat of Christian Walker, he did not look real full speed running that out. And during the commercial break, Joe Espada and one of the trainers for the Astros went out and took a look at him briefly. He was doing some stretching, obviously staying in the game. We'll see if that becomes an issue over the next 3 games here.
Sometimes you go playing in some hot weather and you come to a cooler evening here. Muscles can tighten up a lot quicker.
Raley to the gap. Base hit. Touches down. And he's into second base. Luke Raley aboard for the second time tonight.
Gotta love this approach from Luke Raley. He hits that ball where it's pitched, little elevated, up out over the plate. So strong as he shoots his ball out there into the left center field gap. Raley was another one of the guys that was out here early. Nothing like putting in some extra work and then having it paid off.
The game isn't always that kind.
No. No. If it was, I would have had a lot more hits.
Oh, I show up at early work and I get 3 hits tonight?
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Mark me down. Rolled over to first base. Walker takes him to the bag. It moves Raley into third, so 2 outs. Here comes Canzone. Two outs, runner at third. Canzone a walk and a ribby double his last at bat. Fly ball left center. And the catch made there by Loperfido. Mariners trying to runner at third. It's a 3-run lead, and that means Andres Munoz has the 9th inning when we come back. Andres Munoz taking the field moments ago. A chance for his first save this year. Looking for his first opportunity even.
You got to just love the entrance for Senor Heat.
Carlos Correa leads it off. Astros down to their final 3 outs in this one. Mariners in front by 3, and it's a first pitch strike. .99 buzz in the tower.
Well, you know, the adrenaline is flowing for Munoz. This being his first save opportunity.
.99 that time. A ball and 2 strikes to Correa. The 1-2. He got him. Fishing in the other batter's box. 1 out.
This is just a great slider from Munoz. After buzzing the tower with the fastball, that pitch starts right on the middle part of the plate and ends up off of the plate and gets Correa chasing.
One out for Cam Smith. A little bit of a knee buckler, but off the plate, ball 1. Fly ball deep. A Rosarena in the alleyway in front of the trap. 2 outs. A near capacity crowd on its feet. The Mariners 1 out away from a Game 1 win. Loperfido, the batter, finds the backstop.
This slider right here has some bite to it. Loperfido falling to his knees, trying to avoid the pitch.
Munoz behind 2-0. Cal wants to challenge.
Well, he's been right all night.
The previous
I'm
pitch
going
was
with
called a
Cal.
ball. The catcher is challenging.
Just missing.
The call is confirmed. Seattle has 1 challenge remaining.
.100-mile-an-hour fastball taken for strike 1. Full count.
Loperfido taking all the way. He's just trying to get on base anyway. And Munoz has just poured in a couple of 100-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Munoz comes set. The 3-2. Laced foul. Triple digits again. Mariners 1 strike away from a Game 1 win. Another 3-2. Another foul ball. Here it comes. Ball 4.
Take a look right here. I thought Cal was going to pull up this one. Looked like it might have been just down.
Old friend alert. Taylor Trammell just recalled today. He is facing a man he was once packaged together in a trade with. Fastball at 100 misses. The whole infield meeting on the mound now. Pretty quick.
Yeah, it looked like J.P. Crawford was doing most of the talking right there.
Two outs, top of the ninth inning. Missing 2-0. No Perfido into second. Indifference. And Munoz has to find the strike zone. 3-0. Tying run is on deck. It's the top of the order next, and Jeremy Pena. Here comes the 3-1. He walked him, and that brings up the tying run with 2 outs in the ninth inning. Back-to-back 2-out walks.
Yeah, you certainly did not want to see this lineup turn over as Pena steps up to the plate. And in that on-deck circle, you've got Alvarez looming.
The Mariners bullpen had not walked a single batter until now. Bad miss, 1-0. Perfido at second. Trammell at first as that misses inside. A slider that really backs up on him. 2-0. That's more like it. 2-1.
He gets him Pena to chase on the slider right here. Down and away.
You don't want to face that man. On deck, Yordan Alvarez. 2 outs, 2 on. The 2-1. And again, the Astros down to their final strike. Munoz on a 2-2. Ground ball. Rivas backhand races to the bag, and that's the ball game. The Mariners win it 9-6 on what they hope is a get-right kind of night inside T-Mobile Park.
Great to see Munoz get his first save of the season. Emerson Hancock battled through 5 innings, giving up 3. Mariners 10 walks. 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. But the big difference in the ball game tonight was the insurance runs. In the 7th, they put up a 4 spot to seal the deal here tonight.
They take game 1 of this 4-game wraparound series. Well, not only the win, but to see a win with 9 runs on the board for the Mariners after all they went through with the offensive woes on the road trip. Hey, we haven't seen one of those from that guy in a while.
You mean a smile?
That's nice to see from Dan the Man. Yeah, 9 runs, 9 hits, those 10 walks. But no matter how the offense came tonight, Val, the point is the offense was there, and that is what everybody wanted to see.
And the big blow was that 2-run home run off the bat of Randy Arozarena to give the Mariners a lead, 5-3. They held on by continuing to add on throughout the ball game.
After a really, really tough road trip, the Mariners able to come home tonight, score 9 runs, and take game 1 from their divisional rival. We take you back to the 5th inning and a ball that was never coming back.
Yeah, he took 3 consecutive pitches. I'm sorry, 4 consecutive pitches, and then jumps on his high fastball and just tomahawks it into the upper deck out there in deep left center field. Good to see that offense come alive here tonight.
Rosarena's first of the year, and a timely home run at that. And Randy Rosarena down on the field alongside our own Ryan Roland Smith. Time down for tonight's Fire TV winning moment.
All right, Goldie, I appreciate it. We got Randy Rosarena that broke out in the 5th inning. I want to get back to that 5th inning. Now, the pitch before the home run, you kind of bashed yourself on the top of the head. Were you trying to challenge, or were you frustrated?
Dice él que en el 5º inning, antes de tú conectar el jonrón, el picheo antes, tú te diste en el caco, que si eso era tratando de pedir un challenge o simplemente frustrado.
No, eso era tratando de pedir un challenge. El picheo estaba 50-50 para pedirla y lo hice tarde, pero gracias a Dios después pude conectar el jonrón en el siguiente lanzamiento.
He said he was trying to get the challenge because he felt it was kind of 50-50, but you know, he was able to get the next pitch and hit it out of the ballpark.
It didn't matter any. Obviously, the next pitch, you were sitting fastball, launching into the second deck. How good did that feel?
Dice él que en el siguiente picheo, obviamente tú estabas sentado en la recta y la subiste allá arriba. ¿Cómo te sentiste en eso?
No, me sentí muy bien. Fui a buscar ese lanzamiento. Gracias a Dios salió jonrón, que pude poner el equipo, darle la ventaja y me sentí muy contento porque sea el primer jonrón de la temporada.
He said he felt good because he was looking for that pitch. He got it, and he was able to square it up, and it was able to get a big hit for us during this season.
All right, Randy, lastly, now you're in the top step of this dugout with the trident, playing the guitar, playing that thing like a guitar. You play the guitar or what?
Dice él que tú estabas ahí en el frente del dugout con el trident, jugando guitarra, que si tú tocas guitarra, ¿sí o no?
No toco guitarra, pero ese jonrón lo sentí como si fuera que le hubiese dado con una guitarra.
He said he doesn't play the guitar, but he felt like hitting that home run was like hitting it with a guitar.
I love it. Well, Randy Rosarena, good stuff. Go play that trident like a guitar. Mariners bust out 9 runs.
Very cool. Good stuff. Randy Rosarena with the big second deck blast. Nice way to begin the series. The Mariners take game 1 against the Astros. When we come back, Brad and Angie with you. Mariners postgame around the corner.